Electoral Commission announcing today that the voter registration weekend ahead of the local elections will now be held on the 20th and 21st of June. Preparations are underway for those polls. The Chief Electoral Officer at the Commission, Mamabolo, says the proclamation of the election date will be done once the voter registration process is completed. That means South Africans will probably have to wait until at least June to know exactly when we're going to vote. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali is tracking the story, joins us live from the capital now. Veronica, good afternoon to you. Still no indication of when that date will be. What are officials able to tell us?
Well, what I can tell you, Stephen, is that the IEC could not stress enough how critical it is that that proclamation is made as soon as possible. Of course, this is for various reasons, including the logistical and administrative pressure on the IEC to roll out the local government elections, and the fact that without this official announcement, certain key processes, particularly from the operational planning as well as key processes that need to happen, well, essentially are being put on hold. But the key to this is also voters. They need to be able to know exactly when election day is and where they will be on election day, because this will, of course, affect their registration. And, of course, key to some of the election timelines, and nothing tells us that we are in an election period or season such as the voter registration weekend, which the IEC has announced will take place on the 20th and the 21st of June. But to speak to us a little bit about the importance of the pronouncement or the proclamation of this date, I'm going to speak now to the Deputy Chief Electoral Officer. And Tate, thank you so much for your time. We spoke a little bit earlier about the importance of this proclamation date and the fact that without it, certain things cannot happen. We understand that at this moment, it looks as though the elections will be held between November this year to January next year. But that's not really a practical window for the IEC. Tell us a little bit about some of the obstacles that may come, particularly with that period and the delay.
Good afternoon. We have a basis for planning. An election must take place between the 2nd of November and no later than the end of Jan 2027. However, once an election date is announced, that has the potential of energizing citizens. Historically, our yield of voter registration have increased when there was an election imminent, when people knew when an election date could be. Are we hampered by the non-announcement of the date? No, we can still do certain preparatory things, but for purposes of the voter registration, it will be easier to motivate people to come out and register if there is a specific date, and it also helps to know where they would be on that day so that they can register in areas where they could vote on voting day.
And I want to speak about that particular window, November to January. It's a very busy time. It's towards the festive season. If it's January, it's back to school. It does pose a bit of a logistical challenge, perhaps maybe in what could be currently happening in the space in the country. Indeed,
there's about, if you assume that an election will be held on a Wednesday, as it has been the case traditionally, there are 13 notional Wednesdays in that window period. Each has its unique advantages, but varying degrees of disadvantages. We've planned the scenario with the minister. We have presented the disadvantages and advantages of either of those Wednesdays, so it's up to the minister now to exercise his mind and determine when the election will be called. We must manage exams, that's one. We must manage the suboptimal period of mid-December to about mid-January, and but that is the window period. We can't postpone beyond the end of January. An election must, in terms of the Constitution, take place within an immutable period of 90 days after the end of term.
All right, thank you very much, Ndate. Just that update in regards to elections, and I can tell you, Stephen, that it's coming at a 2.6 billion rand price tag in terms of them rolling out those elections, but also the fact that there are currently 508 political parties that the IEC has gotten note of. Of those, over 200 have been registered, and so it's going to be quite a difficult and momentous task for the IEC IEC, given the fact that this is going to be something that they're going to have to show on the ballot. They've spoken about the fact that they are going to also increase voter education because of the local government elections. Stephen, back to you.
Veronica Makhoali, thank you very much indeed in Pretoria at that Electoral Commission briefing today.